Preston is the newest city in England. Despite that fact, the city centre isn't as booming as you'd expect. Shops are constantly coming and going. In the 8 months we have been residents of this new city, that is, Kiran, Nick and Marty, we've noticed that commercial businesses come and go quite quickly. In order to investigate this phenomenon, we attempted to get in contact with some authorities that might be able to shed a little light on the reasons behind the frequent disappearances of the high street shops. We sent an email to a few estate agents in Preston who might have some knowledge on the subject. The questions we asked the estate agents were:
Firstly, do many storefronts or shops change hands in Preston city centre? If possible, I'd like to know vaguely what proportion of them are from new small businesses starting out, or what proportion of them are establishing chains that are just expanding. Has Preston seen a decrease or increase in businesses opening shops in the last few years, particularly since the recession? Or do you think Preston city status has affected the increase or decrease in commercial development in a town centre?
Unfortunately, none of the 3 estate agents we wrote these inquiries to gave us a reply. We decided to ask a business student instead in order to determine whether or not the business model of a newly opened shop might be what determines its success or failure.
People are always going to need coffee shops, news agents and tech shops. You're always going to need them. You know that Hero Burrito place on Friargate? It was only around for a year and a half because on the same street you've got 3 sandwich bars, 5 pubs and 1 high-class restaurant along with a Chinese buffet. No one was going to Hero Burrito because the other places were cheaper to eat at and people weren't adventurous enough to want to eat Mexican food often. That's the reason places like the new Tesco and Subway that recently opened are doing well. You don't have to be adventurous to go to those. Actually, in the post-recession climate we have right now, consumers want the safe feeling they get from spending their money at places with a strong brand identity. Nobody wants to take risks. They see the Tesco, they know what they can get there, and they stick with what they know.
What sort of new business would be successful in Preston in an area like Friargate?
Something that isn't available at all that people want rather than need. Preston already has all the services and all the people's needs covered. There are plenty of taxi companies, news agents, like I said, public transport, that sort of thing. All the shops that are closed down are already represented somewhere else in some other way. So if you were to start a business, you'd have to get something unique and desirable in order for it to be profitable. I wouldn't pick a place like Friargate to start out anyway because properties on that road cost twice as much as all the roads surrounding it.
Has there been anything on Friargate that has been doing well?
Well, there's a costume shop that's been there 7 years, a comic shop that's been around 3 years, and the leatherworks and stamp collectors shops have been around for 20 years each. You see, unless you're going to make something that can regularly sustain itself without students, that sells something nobody else does, and isn't going to be better in Manchester or Blackpool, then you don't have much of a chance.
Instead of having to worry about sustaining their own shop, some people have changed the way they do business by setting up stalls in the market instead.
I do a shoe stall around Preston Market. This is my 10th year. I just barely get by these days. Of course, we've got to find other ways of subsidising your outlets and best ways that you can.
It's coming full circle in many respects because people like to shop with independents, and that's exactly what we are on the market, independent traders. So you can find something a little bit different that you wouldn't find on the high street. But then we get lots of students coming through, lots of international students in particular make for the market. They want a bargain, they want a bit of knowledge from what they buy and a bit of interaction really, not always what you get on the high street.
Running a market stall is tougher and more physically demanding than having your own shop. However, it's more easy to keep running in the long term. Although, as we discovered, many shops in the vicinity of the student residences in Preston have a reliable way to keep themselves running even when the students aren't there.